Sup, my name is Ryu for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Welcome to Guide to Your Side. It's been quite a while, my friends, since we've last had one of these bad boys. And there's a lot of reasons I can go into why there hasn't been one, just like there hasn't been a Versus in a while or whatever else. This is a special weekend. This is the weekend we start bringing stuff back. So Guide to Your Side, welcome back. This is Guide to Your Side on Monarchs, because Monarchs have been a thorn in a lot of people's sides. And if you're playing Mirror Match, it's very, very skillful, to say the least, when it comes to playing Monarchs. You just basically gotta get lucky. No, there's actually a lot of skill to it. So we're not going to be focusing on the Mirror Match. We're going to be focusing on anything that's not called Monarchs going against Monarchs. So that's what the main source of this video is. And if there's anything I left out that you know will help the player base when it comes to dealing with Monarchs, then please link it down below, or just put the Wikia page or talk about it down below so we can create a giant discussion pool to help people out. That's what I want to do here. Very positive stuff. I'm not trying to bring down a deck that people like. I'm sorry, but I want to help the player base. So I have a giant list in front of me, and we're gonna run it down. I think one of the main obvious ones that a lot of people don't look at is Twin Twister, and the reason I bring up Twin Twister every single time, besides MST and Dust Tornado, and just like back row hate in general, is because their field spell card is what locks you out of your extra deck. Their anti-destruction card, their Protect Our Monarch, is what stops you from jumping over that giant freaking 2800 beat stick. Their field card does more than just stop you from making an Exceed play or Synchro play. It allows their monster, when they're attacking, to gain quite a bit of attack points. It also allows them to have a cost down effect for no cost, outside of the field just being in play. Now, Monarch Storm 4 typically is set face down on your turn, so that way they can use it against you for the Karaz play. That's not to say that every Monarch deck is going to constantly play the Karaz play, but Twin Twister helps break up that Karaz play by getting rid of one of the cards that they will use to bring it out. Now, if they have two Tributes, and you don't have a Darkhold, a follow-up, or a Raigeki, that's going to be pretty tricky. Obviously, they could still play the Karaz play, and the Karaz play is basically going from Heaven Monarch into Karaz into destroying two of yours. You'll pick up two cards in the meanwhile, but they just basically stop your play. They created a situation that you now have to come out of, and that's one of the reasons why Monarchs are so good, because they turn everything you typically throw at them against you. They can jump over a lot of those things. Master Restrict, pretty self-explanatory. The deck is extremely fast, so they can get to their spells and trap outs to your Master Restrict pretty quickly. I'm not saying it's always going to happen. There's sometimes the deck bricks. Super Quantum version is pretty much on the rise right now. It's the one that everyone's running, typically, which is Emergency Teleport into blue layer into red layer search, but red layer, summon, tribute, go to blue layer, all that good stuff. Master Restrict, however, immediately says no tributing, and that's the main source of what the deck does. It tributes. Twin Twister, Master Restrict are probably the best two options in this matchup, because they're going to shut down your opponent. Twister's not going to completely shut them down, but it's going to shut them down from just stopping your plays, and it's going to give you a fighting chance back. However, Master Restrict obviously is going to be the end-all be-all card that just says, you know what, we're not doing this now. We're not doing this. We're not allowing you tribute. Now, when you look at the deck, and I focus on talking about its speed and its spells that protect everything, because one of the best cards, and I know it's expensive, is Anti-Spell Fragrance. When you lock down your opponent from activating any spell cards, and they have to set them first, this allows Twin Twister to come in play. This allows multiple things to come in play. It slows the deck down. And a lot of decks out there, when it comes to slowing something else down, can OTK from there. Now, Anti-Spell Fragrance also works against some of the best decks that are out there right now. Not Mermails, not Cosmos, but Monarchs and Pendulum decks will be Rage Stomp by your turn 1 Anti-Spell Fragrance, as they will with Notoria Beast. So if you can make Notoria Beast That also works really well against Monarchs. Just keep in mind that they have easier outs to it. As we're anti-spell fragrance, it's a little bit harder for them to get over it, just for the sheer fact that they can't just snipe it away. Well, they can snipe it away. What I'm trying to say is you won't lose momentum as you will with making a turret beast. So the next card I want to focus on is Chain Disappearance, because Chain Disappearance, if you hit the Vassal, the light one, or you hit the dark one, then you'll be able to banish them out, and it stops your opponent from being able to use it. But as I mentioned earlier, the Super Quantum engine is being used more. So Chain Disappearance is still usable, but not nearly as useful as it once was, especially with the Super Quantum Monarchs being a thing right now. So we're going to just mention it briefly and focus on something a lot more important, Effect Veiler. Now at first you may be saying, but Ryu, they have the spell card when the tribute's out that it just stops, you from targeting or destroying their Monarch. True. But we're not targeting the Monarch if that's up. We're targeting the little guys, the idea of the Heaven Knight that gets out Eberos. Now, however, the Super Quantum engine once again will jump over this, meaning that Effect Veiler is not as potent, but even the Super Quantum version will still typically use the little ones, only because it makes the deck a little bit more consistent and a little bit less clunky when it comes to hands. I guess that's the way I wanted to say it. Droll and Lockbird is going to be what I mentioned next, besides Mistake. Both of these stop the search power of the deck. Now, Droll and Lockbird, not nearly as good, but it's a hand trap, so there's that. And Mistake, obviously, just going to slow them down a little bit. Doesn't really do much against too many other decks outside against the, I want to say, Magispectre matchup, and to a degree Mermails, but Mermails could just easily pop it, put Prince Play into a heavy Infiltree and just get rid of it, so there's that. I was also going to mention Shared Ride, but again, same kind of problem there. That Shared Ride would just not be nearly as good as anything else. I mean, it is something, but heavy draw power into a lot of momentum plays. Not going to get too many cards off the Shared Ride, but it is worth mentioning. Fiendish Chain, same reason for Effect Veiler. You're pretty much going to go after the Monarchs if you can go after the Monarchs. If you can't go after the Monarchs, then you're going to go after the little guys. And the reason Fiendish Chain over Breakthrough Skill is because it stops them from attacking. And honestly, that's something major, because that's what the deck needs to do to win. It needs to swing at you. And if you can stop it from swinging at you, you're going to survive a little bit longer. The next two cards go hand in hand together, Light Imprisoning Mirror and Dark Imprisoning Mirror. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, sorry. I call it Dark Imprisoning Mirror. Light Imprisoning Mirror stops the Heaven Monarch, stops Karaz, that Karaz play I just constantly talk about, where they pop on your turn. Shadow Imprisoning stops the Zombie Monarch. It stops the Mega Caius. It does not stop the Fire Monarch. None of this stops the Fire Monarch. None of this stops the Super Quantum part of it. Super Quantum part could be stopped by Vanity's Emptiness, by locking it out from special summoning, but they could just tribute over that, and that's just way too much to focus on when it comes to it. I'm going to mention Zombie World. I don't recommend citing it, however, because Master Restrict is superior, but it is worth mentioning. If they don't have the Dark Zombie Monarch, because I can't completely remember his name because I've just been filming for the past 2 hours. Now, if they do have him, you're out of luck. They're going to snipe this back into the deck. If they don't have it, you're shutting them down. Keep in mind, he's a zombie, he's a 3-of in the deck, and he's the core of the deck. He's part of the core of the Monarchs that you're going to see. But, again, there's only 3, so if you're feeling lucky, Zombie World that bitch up. Just make it happen. Last card we're going to talk about here in the matchup is Fairy Wind. Main reason why, just like Twin Twister, hey, destroy everything face up. Only downside is, again, it can be clunky. It could be a dead draw. It may not help you all the time. You just got to make use of it like everything else. Thunder King Rattle is also another option, but due to Monarch Stormforth, I'm going to leave it off. It is an option. It is something you can mention. Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit works to a degree, but again, works to a degree and completely works to a degree where it's going to be the best option. Is not going to make the cut on Guide to Your Side. So hopefully this was extremely helpful to your Monarch matchup and let me know down in the comments. I'm guessing Mermail would probably be next, because I know that's been a deck that's been super aggressive and super hard to really deal with because they OTK extremely quickly. And I'm just going to leave it to you guys. You guys sound off in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next for Guide to Your Side, and I will gladly make it happen. And thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'm ready for the TheYugiohCouncil. If you enjoyed the video and you're new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe, become part of our 7,000 army. Soon to be 7,000 army. I think we'll get there sometime next month or by April. I want to be hopeful and say that. I think it's overshooting, and we may hit there before Shining Victories. But hey, I just overshooting a little bit, probably just a little bit. But thank you guys so much for the continued support. You mean the world to us, and I'm out for now. I'm gonna actually go get some rest.